Welcome back to AI Reviews. Like always, I am your host, Lee. It has been over a month since our last AI review, but let's get back to it. Today we are having an AI review Wolfman being released in 2025. The reviews will range from loving it to hating it. Let's see what they think.
Lee Hwanell's Wolfman, released in 2025, is a sophisticated and chilling reinvention of the classic Universal monster movie, bringing a modern psychological depth to a beloved horror archetype. Starring Christopher Abbott as the tormented protagonist and supported by Julia Garner, this film not only pays homage to the 1941 original but transforms it, using contemporary cinematic techniques and storytelling to explore the profound themes of identity and humanity. With its nuanced direction, stellar performances, and exquisite production values, Wolfman is a masterful blend of old-school horror and modern drama, deserving a flawless 4 out of 4 stars. Director Lee Hwanell, known for his groundbreaking work on The Invisible Man, brings his unique vision to the world of Wolfman. Hwanell's approach is meticulous and intentional, with a focus on building suspense through character development, rather than relying solely on horror tropes. His expertise in crafting atmospheric tension is evident in each scene, where the eerie and the ordinary blend seamlessly, heightening the sense of dread and anticipation. His previous work, which masterfully balances narrative depth with genre elements, has clearly informed his direction in this film, resulting in a story that is as intellectually engaging as it is viscerally thrilling. Christopher Abbott delivers a powerhouse performance, portraying the transformation of his character from man to monster with a harrowing intensity. Abbott's experience in roles that demand a deep emotional range is leveraged fully, as he explores the dualities of his character's existence. The physical and psychological changes his character undergoes are portrayed with such authenticity and depth that viewers can't help but empathize with his plight, even as they recoil in horror at his actions. Julia Garner, who plays a key role in anchoring the film's emotional core, is equally compelling. Garner's character is intricately woven into the narrative, serving as both a mirror and a contrast to Abbott's character. Her performance is nuanced, blending strength and vulnerability in a way that complements and enhances the film's exploration of human versus monster themes. Her chemistry with Abbott is palpable, adding layers of complexity to their interactions and enriching the film's examination of morality and identity. The supporting cast, including a brief but memorable performance by Rami Malek as a mysterious figure with his own dark past, adds richness and variety to the film. Each character is crafted to contribute meaningfully to the narrative, enhancing the thematic depth and providing different perspectives on the film's central questions about what it means to be human. Production-wise, Wolfman benefits from the expert touch of Blumhouse Productions, with Jason Blum at the helm ensuring that the film's settings, special effects, and overall aesthetic are nothing short of spectacular. The use of practical effects for the transformation sequences respects the genre's roots while incorporating advanced CGI techniques that make them feel alarmingly real and terrifying. Musically, the score by Benjamin Wallfisch is a standout, weaving a haunting melody that perfectly complements the film's dark themes. Wallfisch's compositions enhance the emotional impact of key scenes, adding a layer of melancholic beauty to the film's more contemplative moments and a pulse-pounding intensity to the action sequences. In conclusion, Wolfman is an exceptional film that successfully reimagines a classic monster story for a new generation. It balances respect for the original material with innovative storytelling and filmmaking techniques that make it relevant and resonant in today's world. Lee Hwanell's direction, combined with unforgettable performances from Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner, and supported by impeccable production values, makes this film a significant contribution to the horror genre. For its profound storytelling, extraordinary character development, and impeccable execution, I give Wolfman a well-deserved 4 out of 4 stars, making it a must-watch for fans of the genre and newcomers alike.
Wolfman, directed by Lee Hwanell and released in 2025, ventures into the storied universe of Universal monsters with a bold and contemporary reinterpretation of the iconic character. While the film brilliantly captures the psychological torment of its protagonist, played by Christopher Abbott, and benefits from Hwanell's masterful direction, it does encounter narrative pacing issues that slightly mar its overall impact, leading me to give it a commendable 3 out of 4 stars. Lee Hwanell, known for his astute psychological insights in horror cinema, brings a fresh perspective to this classic tale. His direction in Wolfman is characterized by a keen attention to emotional depth, which enriches the story's horror elements with a poignant human drama. However, the film's pacing fluctuates. At times, the careful attention to character development slows the narrative progression, particularly in the middle act where the film seems to linger too long on introspective moments that, while beautifully shot and acted, detract from the building tension that is essential in a horror film. Christopher Abbott's portrayal of the Wolfman is undeniably powerful. He delivers a multifaceted performance that captures the existential dread and physical horror of transformation. Abbott's ability to convey deep, conflicting emotions adds a layer of authenticity to the character's struggle, making the audience empathize with his plight. Nonetheless, the script does not always serve his talents well, particularly in the latter half of the film where the dialogue becomes slightly ponderous, affecting the momentum of what should be climactic scenes. Julia Garner, opposite Abbott, brings vibrancy and a sharp edge to her role. Her interactions with Abbott are some of the film's highlights, offering a dynamic blend of tension and tenderness. However, her character's arc is not as fleshed out as it could be, sometimes feeling like an afterthought rather than a pivotal part of the narrative. This underdevelopment is a missed opportunity to deepen the film's exploration of its central themes, such as the nature of humanity and monstrosity. The supporting cast, including a brief yet impactful appearance by Rami Malek, adds to the film's dark allure. Each character introduces a different facet of the film's thematic concerns, but like Garner's role, they occasionally suffer from underutilization, leaving the viewer wanting more from these potentially intriguing side stories. Visually, the film is a triumph. The cinematography effectively captures the gothic atmosphere requisite for a monster tale, with shadowy visuals that enhance the mood of dread and foreboding. However, the special effects, particularly in the transformation scenes, while impressive, sometimes overshadow the more subtle horror elements that Juanel excels at, detracting from the psychological realism that the film aims to portray. Musically, Benjamin Wallfish's score adeptly underscores the film's emotional and horror sequences, though at times it feels overly dramatic, bordering on manipulative. While generally effective, the music occasionally imposes a tone that feels at odds with the scene's natural tension, pulling the viewer out of the moment rather than drawing them in deeper. In conclusion, Wolfman is a noteworthy addition to the horror genre and a thoughtful reimagining of a classic monster story. Lee Juanel's direction and Christopher Abbott's standout performance are significant strengths, but the film's pacing and some elements of character development could have been handled better. For its ambitious attempt to blend traditional horror with deep psychological exploration, I give Wolfman a solid 3 out of 4 stars, recommending it for its artistic qualities, though noting its occasional stumbles in narrative execution.
Lee Juanel's Wolfman, which premiered in 2025, ambitiously attempts to revitalize a classic monster with a modern twist. Despite its notable cast and high production values, the film struggles significantly with pacing, character development, and thematic execution, resulting in a disjointed experience that merits a mere 2 out of 4 stars. Directed by Lee Juanel, known for his psychological depth in horror films, Wolfman aims to inject a profound narrative into the werewolf legend. While Juanel's intention to explore the inner turmoil of the protagonist is clear, the execution falls short. The film often lapses into long, drawn-out sequences that aim to be introspective but instead come off as tedious. These pacing issues not only slow the narrative but also detract from the buildup of suspense, crucial in the horror genre. Christopher Abbott, portraying the titular Wolfman, delivers a performance that, while earnest, is frequently undermined by a script that doesn't allow for much nuance or evolution beyond the surface-level anguish. Abbott's portrayal, constrained by the script's limitations, leaves the character feeling one-dimensional. This is a significant disappointment, considering Abbott's capability to delve deep into complex roles, which is underutilized in a film that needed that depth to truly resonate. Julia Garner, another immensely talented actor, faces similar challenges. Her character is introduced with potential for significant impact, but ends up sidelined in a narrative more concerned with its protagonist's plight. Her development is rushed and her motivations murky, making it difficult for the audience to connect or understand her relevance beyond being a mere plot device.
This lack of character depth is a recurring issue throughout the film, affecting not just the leads but also the supporting cast, including Rami Malek, whose character comes and goes with little explanation or impact. Visually, the film is impressive. The gothic aesthetics and dark, moody cinematography are fitting for the story's setting. However, the reliance on CGI for the transformation scenes and other supernatural elements sometimes feels overdone, pulling the viewer out of the moment rather than enhancing the horror. The special effects, though technically well executed, overshadow the subtlety of practical effects that could have made the transformations feel more grounded and terrifying. The musical score, composed by Benjamin Wallfisch, is another area where the film attempts to stand out but often feels mismatched with the scenes it accompanies. Instead of enhancing the emotional and suspenseful moments, the music is frequently intrusive, dictating how the audience should feel rather than complementing the on-screen action. This heavy-handed approach is symptomatic of the film's broader issues with tone management, where it seems to struggle between being a psychological thriller and a horror film. In conclusion, Wolfman is a visually stunning yet narratively disappointing entry into the horror genre. While it boasts strong performances and impressive cinematography, the film's overall impact is lessened by its pacing problems, underdeveloped characters, and an over-reliance on CGI effects. Lee Hwanell's attempt to modernize a classic monster story is commendable but ultimately fails to deliver a cohesive and engaging narrative. For these reasons, I give Wolfman a 2 out of 4 stars, recognizing its potential but lamenting its failure to fully realize it.
Alright, strap in folks, because I'm about to tear into Wolfman, the 2025 horror debacle that's a masterclass in how not to revive a classic monster. Directed by Lee Hwanell, this film is an absolute train wreck from start to finish, earning a rock-bottom 1 out of 4 stars for its relentless onslaught of failures in pacing, character development, CGI reliance, and a soundtrack that's as jarring as nails on a chalkboard. Lee Hwanell, who has shown some serious chops in past horror endeavors like The Invisible Man, seems to have left his directorial brain at the door. What we get with Wolfman is a painful slog through what feels like an endless fog of missed opportunities and botched potential. The film is supposed to dive deep into the psychological turmoil of its lead, played by Christopher Abbott, but instead of depth, we get a shallow puddle of clichés and overcooked drama that fails to engage or scare. Speaking of Christopher Abbott, while he's a competent actor, his talents are utterly wasted here as the Wolfman. His performance is hamstrung by a script that wouldn't scare a toddler, let alone an adult audience seeking a thrilling monster movie experience. The character's development is so surface level that it makes daytime soap operas look like complex narrative art. He's supposed to be this tormented soul, but all we see is a guy who looks mildly inconvenienced by his werewolf curse. Then there's Julia Garner, who usually lights up the screen in everything she's in. Here, she's relegated to a secondary character who wanders through the plot without purpose, her talents squandered in a thankless role that does nothing to leverage her abilities. The dynamic between her and Abbott is as electrifying as a burnt-out light bulb, with zero chemistry and dialogue so stilted you'd think they were reading from a teleprompter. Don't even get me started on the CGI. This film relies so heavily on digital effects that it feels like you're watching a high-budget video game rather than a cinematic horror film. The transformation scenes, which should be the highlight of any werewolf movie, are laughably bad, with effects so over the top that they rip you right out of the film's universe. It's a classic example of a movie thinking it can throw money at fancy visuals to cover up its storytelling deficiencies. And the music, composed by Benjamin Wallfisch, is a total mismatch for the film. Instead of enhancing the mood or adding a layer of suspense, it blares at you like a foghorn, completely out of sync with the action on screen. It's as if the composer and the director were working on two completely different films. Instead of drawing you in, it pushes you away, further highlighting the film's inability to grasp the basic elements of horror filmmaking. In conclusion, Wolfman is a howling mess that fails to deliver on any front. It's a misguided, poorly executed attempt to bring a beloved monster into the modern age, and it does so with the grace of a wrecking ball. For a film that could have been a dark, thrilling exploration of a classic character, it ends up as a forgettable footnote in the annals of monster movie history. Save your time and money, this one's not even worth a sympathy watch. Lee Hwanell's Wolfman earns a dismal 1 out of 4 stars, and that's being generous.
Like always, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. I try to have at least 2 videos out per week, AI reviews like this one or real reviews depending on releases. Until next time.